Well, let me speak out in defense of Donald Trump. I don't know if anybody else is. NBC is a left-wing, phony, so-called news operation. Their agenda is obvious. Their agenda is obvious. Look at MSLSD. Look at that conga line of freaks there. Left-wing hacks who say the most vile things. Their guests say the most vile things. The most radical, Marxist, race-baiting professors that you can find anywhere in the nation are frequent guests on that wasted carbon footprint. And as I posted on my social sites immediately when they went after Donald Trump, how can a corporation, because that's what it is, how can a corporation that pays, promotes, and airs Al Sharpton attack Donald Trump? Given Al Sharpton's background, that's another one you should Google. Given Al Sharpton's background, given what he did, has done, given the fact he hasn't paid his taxes, he's paid by NBC. So what we have here is a shifting moral ground for the corporatists over there at NBC. Not only that, Trump has actually made money for NBC. Now, I don't care if you like his politics, you're going to vote for him or not. That's not even my point. That's not even my point. I don't know if Univision and Fusion are part of NBC or not. I'll have to check that out during the break. But for NBC, this is about politics. You can't possibly have Sharpton on your airwaves and then lecture anybody about anything. No, you can't. There was also an interesting piece by Jim Garrity at National Review Online that I'm trying to find here. I'm sure it's here somewhere. About Trump's comment. You know, about when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crimes, rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards and so forth, he goes on. And then Garrity over at National Review Online, he says Trump is speaking hyperbolically, but he's doing so about a real problem some would prefer to ignore. From the FBI's 2013 report on gangs, quote, immigration violations also present a significant challenge to law enforcement in the region. In many cases, gang members who commit criminal activity in the region are not U.S. citizens nor lawful permanent residents. Once deported, gang members attempt to re-enter the United States illegally in order to rejoin the gang and engage in criminal activity. Customs and Border Protection Survey respondents indicate in some southwest border sectors the percentage of non-citizen gang members was as high as 80%. Garrity goes on using FBI, government, Obama statistics. In 2013, ICE freed 36,007 convicted criminal aliens from detention who are awaiting the outcome of deportation proceedings. 426 had sexual assault convictions, 303 kidnapping convictions, 1,075 aggravated assault convictions, 9,187 dangerous drug convictions, and 193 had homicide convictions. Now, maybe Donald Trump was somewhat inarticulate about what he was expressing, but he's no racist. And the fact of the matter is we have a huge problem in this country with growing crime under the statists and, of course, growing crime with aliens coming into this country because many of them are coming into this country illegally. And we don't know who they are and we don't know where they are. And that is an intentional policy, if you will, of the current administration, of the current government. That's exactly what he's talking about. It's right there in the FBI statistics from the Obama administration. Now, he didn't say everybody crossing the border does this. He didn't say everybody crossing the border is is a drug addict or drug pusher or committing crimes or a rapist or whatever. But he can speak for himself. He has spoken for himself, and he will speak for himself. What I'm saying is this NBC is full of it. Al Sharpton has said many, many things far worse than this. Racist things, anti-Semitic things, and he's done things that Trump would never even consider doing. And yet there he is, with a megaphone on MSNBC, which is owned by NBC. And yet nobody boycotts Al Sharpton. Goes into the Oval Office, he shows up at one event or another, speaking for civil rights, he says. And there he is on MSNBC. NBC has no standards. Now they bring up Brian Williams. I think Sharpton